All right, let's jump right in. Welcome everybody to a brand new explainer adventure. Today, we're stepping straight into a magical animated papercraft storybook to explore an absolutely classic tale. We're going to dive into a story that sets up the ultimate jungle showdown. I'm talking about brain power versus muscle power.
So, I really want you to think about this for a second. Can a tiny little jackal actually defeat a giant, super hungry lion? What do you think? I mean, if you were wandering through the jungle, would you rather be the absolute biggest, strongest animal around, or would you rather be the smartest? Hold on to your guess, because we're about to see exactly which trait wins the day here. Let's turn the page and start our story.
Once upon a time, there was this mighty lion, and he basically ruled over the entire jungle. But on this particular day, he had a pretty massive problem. He just couldn't find a single animal to hunt. It was getting super close to sunset, and this lion was very, very hungry. Well, suddenly, he spots this big cave. Now, I want you to imagine this lion thinking to himself in this really big, gruff, kind of dopey voice, "Oh, some animal must live in this big cave. At sunset, whoever lives here is definitely going to come back. So I will just hide inside this cave and wait for my dinner to arrive." So in he goes, licking his chops, completely ready for a sneaky snack.
But wait a second, guess who actually lives in that cave? It's a jackal. Right at sunset, the jackal comes trotting back to his home. But suddenly, he stops dead in his tracks. Imagine what he's looking at right there on the ground. He sees these huge, heavy footprints in the dirt, and they belong to the lion, and they are heading right into the cave. But because he's incredibly observant, he realizes something super important. He can't see any footprints coming back out. So in a very slick, snappy little voice, the clever jackal thinks to himself, "Okay, if a lion is inside, he's probably going to eat me. But how can I be absolutely sure? I need to find out if that lion is still in there."
And then the jackal comes up with just a brilliant plan. Standing perfectly safe outside, way in front of the cave, he takes a huge, deep breath, cups his paws right around his mouth, and starts shouting in this super loud, exaggerated voice. "Hello, cave! Hello, cave! Can I come inside?" Yep, he literally just spoke right to the rocks.
And for a few moments, he just stands there and waits. In total, absolute silence.
Hearing absolutely nothing, the tricky little jackal shouts out again, laying the absolute perfect trap. "Hello, cave! Hello, cave! Have you forgotten? I always wait for your reply before I enter. Why are you so silent today? I will go to some other cave if you do not reply." Oh man, he is good. He is completely pretending that the cave talks back to him every single day. Okay, let's pause right here for a second. Will the cave actually talk back? I mean, rocks can't talk, right? But remember who is hiding inside, listening to every single word. The lion is in there thinking, "Oh no, the cave must usually reply to the jackal when he comes home. And since I'm sitting inside, the cave isn't replying today. The jackal is going to run away if there's no answer. So, lean in close here. What do you think this ridiculous lion is going to do to keep his dinner from getting away?" He totally falls for it. The lion decides he has to pretend to be the cave. So he opens his giant jaws and shouts from the pitch-black inside of the cave, using the most booming, dopey voice you can possibly imagine. "Hello, jackal. You may enter. It is safe inside." Boom. The jackal knew instantly that the lion was waiting for him in there. And he definitely, absolutely did not want to be eaten up. So zoom, he spun right around and ran away as incredibly fast as his legs could carry him. And that foolish, giant lion sitting inside the cave? Well, he sure didn't get any dinner that night. And that brings us to our value pick for today. What's really interesting about this is that sometimes being clever can save you too. Look, the jackal wasn't the biggest, right? He wasn't the strongest, and there is no way he could have won a wrestling match against a giant lion. But his brain power completely beat the lion's muscle power. He used his sharp observation skills and his really quick thinking to keep himself totally safe. Section 1. Magic Vocabulary Words. Spells for your brain. Welcome to the Magic Vocabulary Words game show. I'm your host, and today we're going to cast some serious reading spells to make our brains just as strong as the jackal's. You ready? Alakazam. Our very first word is clever, which means intelligent, just like the title of our story, The Clever Jackal. He was smart, he was quick-witted, and he was intelligent enough to figure out a completely safe way to check out his cave. So whenever you solve a really tough puzzle, guess what? You're being clever. Hocus pocus! Next up, we have pretend, which means to assume or to act like something you're really not. Remember our dopey lion friend? He foolishly tried to pretend to be a talking stone cave. I mean, it was a pretty terrible disguise, but he sure did try to pretend. And Shazam! Our final magic spell word is footprints. These are literally the marks of a foot left on the ground. And in our story, these were the vital, life-saving clues in the dirt that told our hero someone was sneaking around inside his house. So keep your eyes peeled for footprints on your next big outdoor adventure.
Section 2. Match It, the Brain Builder Challenge.
All right, you have totally mastered those vocabulary spells, which means it's time for our grand finale. Let's see if we can stitch this story back together. I want you to shout out the answers as we go, okay? Here's the first half of our board. We need to connect the start of the sentence on the left to its perfect match on the right. Number 1, the hungry lion saw. Did he see a giant pizza? No way. He saw a cave. Awesome job. Number 2, the lion hid. Where did he go? You got it. He hid inside the cave. Number 3, the jackal saw. What actually gave that sneaky lion away? The jackal saw the lion's footprints. You guys are absolutely crushing this. Let's clear off this board for the final round.
Let's finish strong here. Number 4. The jackal asked the cave, what exactly did he shout at those rocks? Can I come inside? Number 5. The foolish lion shouted, come on, let me hear your absolute best dopey lion voice. You may enter, it is safe. And finally, number 6. The jackal heard the lion and, what did he do? He knew at once that the lion was inside. Amazing, amazing job. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. You matched every single one perfectly. Well, we've reached the end of our explainer adventure for today. You have totally proven that you have incredible brain power, just like the clever jackal. So I want to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Next time you face a giant, lion-sized problem in your own life, how will you use your clever brain to solve it? Because remember, you really don't always have to be the biggest to win. You just have to be the smartest. Keep learning, keep observing, and keep using that brilliant brain of yours. I'll catch you on the next adventure.